I think the meeting notes sometimes can be helpful for just distilling down like the most important points. So I'll be taking notes during the call.
Oh,
there's I'm posting a link in the chat. That's the link with some of the pages on the Wayback Machine. From August 8th are still there, and the individual instruction is one of those, the original teachers. So you might just click around to see some of them are there and some of them aren't.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. So Parker, I know. Oh, beautiful. Let me grab that. Sorry, let me just grab this link. Wayback Machine. Cool. So there's a couple things we could talk about. I mean, obviously, I want to. I know, Parker, you have like a whole agenda, and I know, Dhammarato, you have a whole agenda. There was one thing I want to talk about. Just kind of go through some updates on the website. And so, just as long as we save time for that at some point.
No, let's do that now before the rest of them join.
Okay. All right. Beautiful.
And if they don't join, there's not a whole lot to talk about anyway.
Nice. All right. Where is this? Cool. Sorry, bear with me here. I'm just pulling up a couple details.
Did they all get the message? Because this time it was Parker, did you see an announcement that the call had started?
I didn't get the usual like ding 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 or bidding or
that's the problem. We haven't notified everybody. Let me go and do that if I can figure out how.
Guys.
Hey, Robert.
Hello, Robert. Thank you for coming on. I had the dinging didn't happen on this one because there's not enough names on our list. 10 participants.
I think
all they're giving me a chance to do is to remove the names, not send them a message.
Yeah, I'm in a place where I can call them.
Okay.
Wow, Parker with the shirt. This is a new man, I see.
Business Parker.
No, there's just Parker and there is just shirt. And all the rest of it is in your mind.
This is me.
Yeah, Parker is shown to be more empty now than even he was before. Just kidding.
Cool. I'm gonna share my.
Go right ahead.
All right.
You're up after that interlude.
All right, beautiful. I'm gonna give you guys. You guys see my screen? Like I'm sharing a Google document right now.
Yes, I can see your screen. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a more of just like a visual reference for me, but I made kind of like an update summary of kind of where we are at the website. So I actually tried to get this working on WordPress, and a couple things that I found out about this. So one is that the old website is used a lot of custom code. Like you have this whole like custom plugin that Parker's familiar with that like we can do is just like hard to update. It was made by people who are no longer affiliated with the project. So that's a lot of overhead. The other is that we don't have access to our old WordPress admin, so we can't like actually use the content from our old WordPress site, unfortunately. And then also kind of like our old site doesn't fully reflect, I think, the goals of the organization. So we have to change the content pretty significantly anyway, right? So with all that said, it's just like we kind of have to kind of create something from scratch, unfortunately. And I tried doing this with WordPress, and I found it to be a huge pain. I thought it was like
I think that may be why Willie had to write so much code, is because WordPress for him was such a pain, and so he used his own code for that.
Yeah. And so the thing that Willie made is it's actually quite easy to do that on more paid solutions like Wix. Like what Willie did was awesome. It was really, really impressive. But the thing is, you can do that and not be technical at all if you're willing to pay for it. So my recommendation is that we pay for it and we use Wix, which, Wix it's not super expensive, but it is a meaningful amount of money. And so the amount it would cost is if we get a nonprofit discount, which would put us at about $10 a month for the next 2 years, and then it'd be about $32 a month thereafter. And what the nice thing about Wix is that it allows you to do like basically everything we want it to do quite easily, right? We'll be able to have our map. Like we could do this in the next week. We create our map of the retreat centers. We can have like a really beautiful thing of all of our teachers and their bios. We can accept donations via PayPal. So we can kind of do all of that really quickly, and it'll be really easy to maintain. And also Wix looks quite good, and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a second here.
Okay. How much of the content that we already have can be popped into that?
A good amount. It's going to take some manual kind of like copying and pasting, but it's not a big deal. But I kind of started that process. And so actually, let me share. Do you guys see my screen?
Another question is, can we pay for a year in advance, or do they start off automatically as monthly?
We can pay for, yeah, we'll only get that discount that puts us at $10 a month. We pay for 2 years in advance.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's what we want to do, because we get basically that's a 70% discount. So we'd want to do that in the very beginning. So I made this.
Okay, I'm up for the 200.
All right, sweet. The 2 years at once. All right, yeah. Beautiful. So I just started to kind of like put together at like very basic level, trying to start port some things over. And I think it looks. I just did this like in like an hour, and like honestly, we can make this like look a lot nicer. But oh, sorry, Robert.
Yeah, just a thought. I think we should replace all of the content on the website
with stuff that you're going to write, right?
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
That's the problem with it is that we've got content that we can use, but that it needs to be, let us say, tweaked and fixed and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, for example, on this little paragraph here, it's talking about, gender identity and sexual orientation and race, and that's really not what this is about. Those are nice. Those are great ideals.
Right. That's stuff that Matt put in there. Matt's done his editing, and we need to unedit some of the edits that Matt has put in. So here's the question right off the bat, and that is, how can... Oh, Keyshawn, thanks for joining.
Howdy, Keyshawn.
No problem. Hey, everyone.
Oh, my old friends, Chris and Robert, I'm hoping. Okay, so here's the point that we're at now, and that is, how do we shuffle around content? In the sense that, is there some way that we can just download the page in HTML, edit the content, and then put it back into place? Or I'm not sure exactly how to do this, but we need some, and I would say that this is a point in time where Parker should come into it, is about coordinating the content into the website.
Yes, I agree. Something I was doing a few days ago was just going through and looking at other nonprofit websites and seeing how they're structured, where's the donation and stuff. And I did some sorting with the different tabs that we might have, and the different like About Us, the Teacher's Sangha, a link to the Zoom, a link to Dhamma. So I can look for a platform, or Ian made a Google Doc where I can just put some titles there, and those can be filled out, and I can share that with you all. That Ian wrote something for the index.html page, a good beginning, and then we can take some other stuff from his document with the goals and the principles. And then we can all work on that together in that Google Doc. I think that would be the easiest way.
Yeah. So just to clarify something here. So it's very easy to update the copy on Wix. And so here I'm in like the editor mode right now. And so like if I want to change the the copy, it's as easy as me just changing it here. So it's quite easy to do this within Wix. But I agree though, it's kind of nice to Google Docs that you can like have people collaborating at the same time. They could comment on things, have a bunch of different revisions. So I like that idea of using Ian's Ian's document and just doing all of everything there. But like once we actually want to make updates, super easy.
Okay, great.
Oh, and so then the Google Doc itself is actually kind of an HTML page already, so that it can just be plopped into place.
Yeah, we'll just copy and paste it. But I think the benefit of doing it in Google Docs is that it makes it really easy to collaborate and leave comments and stuff.
Okay. Now here's where I'm going with this. And that is that I want to make updates, not just now, but updates forever, as easy on the guy who's running the website as possible, so he doesn't get overloaded with work to do.
Yes, and so that's the beautiful thing about Wix is that it's actually quite easy to update. So regardless if it's me, I'm happy to hold the banner of updating this thing. But if somebody wanted to update it, it's very self-explanatory. Like you literally just click in it, you make some updates, you drag and drop things around. You can like change here. I could change this photo here. So it's just like really easy to do the Wix, and I think that's the main benefit of it.
Okay.
Parker, could you please share the mission statement that was crafted with Ian? I think that would be great. I just went into the Skype channel and it had been removed. I think Skype has an expiration date on file, so thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
So a couple other things I just wanted to share here while we're on the call. What's also nice about this is it makes it really easy to do things like having a map. And so we can have like a map here with all of our locations. It won't look exactly the same as the one that we have on the site. Like the site that has like, a big pop-up and then you can click into that pop-up and it's a little more feature rich, but we can have a simple version of it with this map. And then the other thing we can do is for our teachers, these are not our teachers. This is just.
Yes. God, I understand exactly. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Dhammarato, I haven't seen Kelly Parker on a call before. Did I miss that one? Ryan Chung.
So the nice thing about this is that we'll be able to update this all with a CSV, like all of our retreat centers, all of this. We can have like a big CSV and we can import it. And so that's like a nice benefit of it as well.
I didn't know that. That's why I got Hostinger, was because it looked good, but Wix would be better, and I got that. And when I bought the Hostinger, I knew that I was going to be wasting my money, but at least we could get something started. So I'm quite good to go for the Wix.
The good thing is that you actually didn't waste your money. So with Hostinger, we still need someone to host our website. And so we'll still use Hostinger for that. They're still the one who's serving the content, but Wix is how we're actually going to design it. And so your money is well spent, don't worry.
All right. Okay. So the mechanics then, I assume, would be that you send me a link to Wix. I log in, or not log in, but in fact, I open an account of Open Sangha Foundation, and I'll pay for it through my PayPal. And then with the password that I give, which guys already know, I'll send to you, and that then you can go right into the Wix. Is that our plan?
Well, so actually, it's even easier than that. So I'm actually already using OpenSanghaFoundation.com or the OpenSanghaFoundation@gmail.com as the email for this. So I'm already in that account, and it's there's no password. It's just a Google login. So all you have to do is log in with Google. The only thing we're missing here is the PayPal payment. So I just need to get that PayPal information, and then we'll be able to get this going.
Wait a minute. When you say log in with Google, that means that I'm already logged in as Open Sangha Foundation in Google.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm logged in on OpenSanghaFoundation.com or OpenSanghaFoundation@gmail. And you can log in with Google.
Okay, so you've got a free version right now, is what you're saying.
So yeah, I mean, this is all on a free version, and so we just have to pay for it to like actually get this live in the wild.
Okay, all right. So after the call, I'll go into the Open Sangha Foundation at Wix.com or whatever.
Yes,
I can find Wix, I guess, on Google. If they're that good, they'll be up front.
Yes, and actually, let me help you with that because there's actually a somewhat convoluted process we have to do to get the discount. And so I'll let you know when I have like ready to do the discount, and then we can I'll work with you to get the PayPal connected.
Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten the Wix started and going, and we've also got it with you guys, I didn't exactly understand, but I hope that I don't have to do too much content. That in fact, I was hoping that Chris would come on so that we could talk about the issue of the finances and what, but you did mention that Wix made PayPal easy. The question is PayPal itself going to be easy?
When you say why would what? So when you say what is PayPal going to be easy? Why would it be hard?
Well, let us say like this. Would it be possible to open a PayPal account under the name of Open Sangha Foundation at gmail.com and then give a credit card number that's under another name?
Got it.
Or it does, in other words, if we open an account with PayPal under that particular name, do we have to prove that we've got a bank account in that name?
Yeah.
I think the only hard thing would per se would be getting the account or getting the 501c3 up and running, and then next getting a bank account working with that, and then setting up the PayPal with that. So
I've
not
got a
something
solution to that. I've
ahead.
already been through with PayPal. You're looking at one of the original PayPal customers. I've had PayPal since 2002. And in that time, I have changed bank accounts and credit cards and names several times, including the email address. Okay, which is actually, here's the point now with PayPal, is my grandfather's hatchet. My grandfather had an old hatchet, but once the handle broke, and so he replaced the handle. And then later the head cracked, and so he replaced the head. And then a couple of years after that, the handle broke again, and so he taped it up. Now I ask you, is this the same hand axe, that it was 15 years ago, when there is nothing the same? And yet PayPal thinks that I'm the same person. It's their same number account. And the name has changed, and the email has changed, but this all happened one at a time. That in fact, for years, I would refuse to give them the bank account number. You can appreciate why. I mean, I had to verify that online banking was going to work before I'm going to give these guys my account number. Okay, but now that that's said, it seems to me that we can do it the other way, because I see people all over the place asking for money, PayPal and other donation places. That in fact, that's something that we need a coordinator for, Keyshawn, is to go look at PayPal and to go look at Patreon and GoFundMe and open something in them all. So that we can have, now the point is, let's go back to PayPal for just a second. No, go ahead, Robert. You got to, you put your finger in your ear.
Sure, yeah, just a quick comment. This is kind of a meta comment. That's okay. I think we really need some kind of project management system. Like we need like an Excel sheet, well, Google Doc sheet, like a Google sheet, where you have tasks listed under each person's name, and then Parker can go and check, who's doing what task and kind of harass people if they're not doing their task.
I think Ian and Parker have already worked something out on that.
Oh, okay,
that
great.
already exists, so you can be linked into that too.
Okay, great. I think we should all
we
be
had
linked.
the Google Docs, but I agree that if there's I can look for some free system that where all just the tasks are listed.
Well, Google Docs has a spreadsheet.
So so my job is very similar to this, like project management, especially for software products. And what we can do is, have you guys familiar with like Asana or something? Asana is kind of built for this, as you use like Kanban boards. And if you guys are open to that, I could help set that up.
Yeah, it sounds great.
That's great.
Okay. Well, when you open it up, put this that you're opening it up at the top of the list.
So, by the way, Robert and Keyshawn, I don't know if you knew this. I have a Google Doc open. I posted it in the chat where I'm taking notes on this meeting. So if you guys have anything you want to add, feel free to collaboratively like add in the document of anything I missed.
Oh, wow. What have they done with software? They're going to have AI someday, I'm sure of it. Self-driving cars. I mean, where is Elon Musk? This is so amazing. When you guys are talking about the software stuff, remember that when I'm processing about how to do it, I'm doing it in some assembly language. Like MAS or BAL. BAL, I did a lot of code in BAL, and you guys never heard of it.
I have not. Is it like
basic? No. BAL is the basic assembly language for the IBM mainframe, starting with the 360, and still is that instruction set.
Wow, that's wild.
Well, the first real thing that could be and is still considered a mainframe. That's the assembly language that I learned.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm very unskilled at HTML, and I'm an old dog that's hard to learn some of these new tricks.
So actually,
I really appreciate it. I'm going to go in my sales pitch of how appreciative I am to you guys right now, but we'll wait and do that later and get on with
it. You're pretty damn good. I saw you you set up on like SQL database in for the website, so I was like, all right, that's pretty advanced already. So give yourself some credit.
Okay, right. SQL. I've done SQL.
Yeah. So actually, I had a clarifying question about the PayPal. So I know it sounds like it sounds like you have an account, but it's not under like an official like Open Sangha Foundation account tied to the 501c3. Is that correct?
Right. Okay. Well, what I'm suggesting is that we open a new PayPal account with that email address, and then put someone else's name and credit card, or not a credit card, better a debit card, I think, in a bank in the United States. Okay, so that people can make foundational to a bank account. Now, in order to keep the let us say things in order, this needs to be a bank account that is in someone's name, that is a new account that has a new debit card on it with whatever name that they want to put on it, that the bank will let them put on it. And they can also do a DBA, Open Sangha Foundation, on that new account. Okay. You know what a DBA is?
Doing business as?
Doing business as, right. Or it's an alternate name on the bank account. Once we get that debit card and that bank account number, then we can open the PayPal using that bank account number under the address or the name that PayPal is using will be the Open Sangha Foundation at gmail.com.
Got it. And I would have thought that the way I'm very new. I've never opened up a bank account for a nonprofit, but I would have assumed the way it would have worked is that we would have got the 501c3, and then we would have just opened the debit card directly under the name of the 501c3.
That's the easy part, or that's the easy way for PayPal. But getting that 501c3 is going to take a lot of time.
Got it.
But I'm trying to get something done right away, because in fact, if we do get a 501c3, then that bank account, that same bank account, can add that employer identification number, the EIN, that the bank wants. but it will still then be tied to that person for a while until later the guy goes and takes his name off of it. But you don't all do all of that switcheroo at the same time, or the bank will get suspicious.
Okay.
Yes. So we should be able to, like you were saying, first get a hammer, or what was it, an axe? With just someone opening it up. We don't even need a bank account to open up the PayPal account at first. We can just receive money right into a PayPal account without a bank account.
Really?
And then with that personal bank account, eventually we'll be changing it to a business bank account, which can then be selected under that business account in a nonprofit organization.
Now that I didn't know, that's the secret. That's the real secret. We can open a PayPal account without having either a bank or a debit or a credit card associated with it. That's beautiful. That's the
That's
solution.
what Google's telling me.
Okay, interesting. So is somebody down to take the lead on like figuring this all out and like, whether we open a PayPal directly or open up a bank account?
It would ideal eventually to have someone managing the money or doing that side of things. Maybe Christopher, if he's ever interested or if he has the time. But until then,
Jeff
this would be something
is
quick
an
to do.
accountant-like guy,
Yes,
and he
Jeff.
would be willing to at least track the money because he knows how much trouble it is with the IRS if you do the 501(c) stuff wrong. And right now, since we don't have a 501(c), he probably would make sure that see, what I'm looking at right now is that the only kinds of expenses we're going to have would be for paying for setting up of the organization. We don't have any other places to spend the money right now because we don't have anyone who is ready to make the leap yet of quitting their job. Any volunteers?
Okay, so
I don't know who this is. I'm going to add someone to the call here. This is Will Carpenter. Hello, Will.
Hi.
how's it going, Will?
Hello.
Hello.
I know you didn't expect this. We're already actually right now we're in a business meeting. If you don't mind, you can either call me later or just listen in on what we're talking about, because what we're talking about is the Open Sangha Foundation, or opening an organization. And forgive me, guys, if I spend at least 3 minutes and yes, yet another spiel, is to we're opening a website and going newsletters and all of that kind of stuff so that we can begin to get Buddhism organized in the West around the way that it's organized in Asia, as opposed to letting it become organized around the U.S. business model, which is currently the way that it's heading. Okay, in other words, we're going back to the idea of openness with dana, with generosity, and all of those gushy Buddhist terms, rather than hardcore, you pay me this much money and I'll give you a retreat in return. But after the retreat's over, sorry, you're stuck. All right. So this is basically the place that we're heading with this, and you're welcome to join us if you like, or you can call me later.
Sure. Well, how about I'll listen in for a while and we'll just see what happens.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for calling in, and I hope that you can. In fact, the Sangha is just a community of friends, and so here's your community of friends to start off with, Will.
Thanks.
Howdy, Will.
And so, where we were talking about with Parker, what it takes in, let's go ahead and open a PayPal account without that business bank account that is needed, but later we'll add it into that. Because as I was saying, I don't see a lot of reason for expenditures The only expenditures that I think it will have for a while, I'm willing to put out of pocket instead. So all we need to do then is to set it up to receive income. And that income will just kind of sit in the account until we get the 501(c). Is anybody against that kind of thing happening?
That sounds like a good plan.
Works for me. And so, okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I think it sounds great. So as long as they can hold the funds, why not?
Okay. Well, the question is, will PayPal hold the funds?
Yes, that is really the question.
So
And
is
the-
someone down to take the lead on answering that question?
I can do that. That'll be yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So,
Okay. Well, let's let Parker set that up. And Keyshawn, what you can do is you can begin to check out this same issue working with Parker on the others like Patreon and GoFundMe. And the one that Danny knows, he's got another one that I've never seen before, Kit Kat or something like that. I'm not
Ko-Fi
sure what it is.
is the one he was using.
Which one?
Ko-Fi. Ko-Fi.
Ko-Fi.
what's that, Parker?
It's another Patreon-like thing. It's little shtick is that you're donating a coffee's worth of donation.
Nice.
So it's like a website where you can donate a creator or something a coffee's worth of donation.
So I strongly recommend we use a PayPal account, because if we have that, it's actually really easy to set up donations in like many different ways. We can do subscriptions, we can do the coffee thing, we do all kinds of things. But Wix
Right.
has a lot of cool plugins that allow us to do that, and they take a very low fee potentially for nonprofit. And so, yeah, definitely recommend just using generic PayPal for our donations.
I think there's kind of two questions with the PayPal.
You're right. I just realized that if we have a whole lot of sources of income like that, that will be a whole lot more work for our accountant to do. If it's all done through PayPal, then that will make it much easier, because all he has to do is take the PayPal and there it is.
Robert, were you
So
saying
I
something?
agree. So Keyshawn, put that job on hold.
Well, I think, but Robert, were you saying something? I think Robert froze. I'm not sure if you could hear us.
He is frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
All right, let us say that the screen is. It's not he actually that's frozen.
As far as we can tell, at least.
It's hard to tell, right? All I've got is an image, and I'm creating a whole bunch of stuff.
So there's two other things I want to mention. I don't want to derail us in case you guys had other directions you wanted to go, but one was about the just like the process of setting up the 501c3, and the other was actually getting the address, getting an address associated with the 501c3.
The address to the 501(c), you mean the business account?
Yeah, just we have to have like an address on file for certain things.
Well, Parker's already volunteered his. That in fact, I can take a moment to say that I've already cleared a lot of this with Parker's dad.
Okay, nice.
And so his dad is all in for Parker getting involved with this, and I am just so impressed with Parker.
Yeah, Parker.
Robert, you're back. No, he just the screen popped around. That's what happened. He is in fact gone.
And I guess, Parker, are you leading setting up the 501c3 as well?
I think Robert, maybe with the assistance of Jeff, was thinking of doing that.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
I thought that Christopher was going to be doing the 501(c). That Jeff is actually living in Canada, and that kind of puts him out of the picture for actually formatting it. Oh, Robert, you're back. Now I see your screen moving.
Yeah, we had an internet connection problem over here, so.
All right.
I guess now
So
we're
you
okay.
kind of had your hand in the air a few minutes ago, about the time you froze.
Yeah, I was just saying about the PayPal. I think there's kind of two steps here. The first is seeing if it can just accept funds. And then if it can't, then we need to coordinate with Chris with respect to the 501c3 and all of that and see what
Precisely
he's
so.
fit on that. So it's really important we pull Chris into this conversation like ASAP. So I don't know if anyone, maybe Dhammarato, you could message Chris and ask him when he could jump on a group call. And I think also it's probably a good idea to have like a weekly meeting at the same time, maybe Mondays at this time. I don't know, but
I would vote that that's possibly too often, and it winds up then having just a very small core of people. If we plan on once a month meeting, we'll have more people in it. And I don't think that we're going to actually be moving fast enough to need weekly updates.
okay.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'm looking for something that is going to slowly build into a snowball and then into an avalanche. Let's not start avalanches right from the beginning. Let's do things slowly because we don't have so many people in it. That in fact, getting more people involved is the way to speed things up, not a few people doing a whole lot of work. And so let's not have a weekly meeting. Let's do it a monthly. But I really agree that we can have a regular Monday, first Monday of the month meeting. That would be a really good idea. Thank you.
So on the PayPal, yes, we can receive money. I quickly have set up a PayPal just as a personal account and did a little test with 10 cents, and it looks like the money's there in the account.
Nice.
Okay.
So
Right.
that's all we need to do in terms of that. We can set it up on the website with Wix, like Tyler was talking about.
Okay, well, all you need to do then is to set that same thing up with Open Sangha Foundation, link it with our email address, and then send whatever header or link that you need to Tyler so that he can use Wix to plug that in. And we're good to go on that PayPal. I think that I knew it would be that easy. I knew it would be.
And Tyler and anyone else who's already signed into the Open Sangha account, in the drive, there's a spreadsheet with all the passwords that we can use. Just I put the Wix one in there, just saying it was just Gmail login, and the PayPal password in there now too, just because we're probably gonna acquire a bunch of accounts.
Nice. Cool. Actually, one question I had related to that was that do we think we want to create an email that uses opensanghafoundation.org as at the end of it? So it'd be like hello@opensanghafoundation.org. The reason I ask is that it just looks a little bit more professional and polished when we're like communicating out to folks.
I agree with you 100% now that I have the new information. And Parker already has a .org. We do have an opensanghafoundation.org as well as a .com.
So yeah, I'm moving.
Remember, I was introduced to .coms when the only thing there was a .com. When ED came on, everybody howled.
So Parker kindly helped me. Like he set me up with the .org, and I've been moving the new website onto the .org. But if we want to create an email that's like hello@opensanghafoundation.org, that'll cost like some additional money if we want to have that through Gmail. So it'd be like another like $5 a month or something. Is that like an expense we'd feel comfortable paying, or does that feel kind of like unnecessary at this point?
Let us say that we have $1,000 in mental working capital.
Okay. So
I would say that would probably be worthwhile. Something like hello or whatever. That would be this center. Whoever's eventually receiving all the information or all the contact from the website will eventually use that email address.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about not a free Gmail, but a paid business Gmail so that we can handle the traffic.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I do a lot of stuff with Yahoo, and it has some real restrictions I've found.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing too is that just to like make it look more professional, so we can use Gmail to send emails, and we look like more legit by having opensanghafoundation.org as the handle.
precisely.
Cool. I'll help set that up as well. So as far as for paying for both like the Wix and then that business Gmail, are we going to be using your PayPal Dhammarato, or are we going to be using this new PayPal we're setting up? Because I think the new
I like using the new PayPal setup. That way that I can put some money into it. My PayPal can give that PayPal some money, and then all of the stuff can come out of it. That I like. If we could get that PayPal set up that fast.
Yeah, so all you should need to do is just send the money to Open Sangha Foundation at gmail.com. That's what I did with the test funds, and it's already in there.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
it's already there.
Yeah.
Okay, send me that PayPal link, and I'll do that later.
Okay.
I'll send some money today.
I will as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to contribute as well. Gmail.org. All right, beautiful. All right, so once we get that going, I'll just go wild spending money on all kinds of fun things. But yeah, the two big things are the Wix and then the that Gmail account. I think those are the only things we have to do for now.
Yes, Keyshawn, I was just thinking about you. I can only see you from nose up.
I can't see you guys right now, but I was gonna say, I don't know if this is really of any use right now, but it could be down the road. If we ever had any pressing questions that we weren't able to figure out, or I know someone, I work in the office with an ex-CEO of a pretty large nonprofit organization in Chicago, and I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any questions, or maybe if it came down to it down the line, it's probably just somebody good to know, and that has a lot of connections in the industry in that way. So
that's exactly what we're looking for, Keyshawn. I tell you, the way to handle that is to have an opportunity to talk to her and mention this without asking her to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just mention it to her. So it's already there. So when you go to approach her, you can start with, remember when I was talking about blah, blah, and you felt so good about it? And then, so this is a point of psychology, is introduce it first without asking for anything. If you introduce it first with flattery, and then you ask for something right then, people get weary.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny
this
too.
Is a really good. Go ahead.
It's funny too, because it feels like these companies, like my firm, they're always looking for ways to like get involved and like do like charity work, and not it's something that, yeah, if you plant a seed like that, I bet you'd be able to pitch it as something that the companies start supporting and that kind of thing. So
yes, I imagine that we will have
whole
corporate supporters. I'm looking for that. That would not be a bad thing to do.
Yeah, especially it's almost like a fad now that all these companies are kind of really pushing the whole wellness scheme onto like the employees. So it would fit the bill quite well in today's climate.
Wow. Yes, Robert.
That actually raises a really big question, Keyshawn, because if you have this be a Buddhist organization, it becomes a religious organization as opposed to a wellness organization. And so that's kind of an interesting question. Do we want to position ourselves as more of a wellness organization?
Yes.
Or religious organization?
No.
Position ourselves to get a check.
Right. Position ourselves as something new on the block, the new kid on the block.
Yeah.
But it's got a sister named Wellness.
Yeah, because you can make both arguments, right? You can say, well, this thousand-year-old tradition, it's a religion. You can also say, well, it's a wellness. So
yeah, this is not Grandpa.
Kind of
this is not the religion, Grandpa. This is.
Yeah. So I think that's a very interesting question moving forward in terms of how to talk about the organization, how to promote it, how to fundraise for it, et cetera. So that's something.
Right. In fact, putting wellness in there someplace. That's a key word that whoever's doing content, we can think of putting that kind of language in there.
Well, that's
Sangha is a community of wellness.
Well,
so that's something to consider as we're going forward. Is when we're looking at the website and stuff. One thing that was, are we going to use the word dana or donation? So just as an overall philosophy, are we going to try to make this more Western centered as much as possible, to communicate?
Actually, I would say that we were going to use both of them, using the word English language and then in parenthesis dana on some of the places, and in others don't use the word donation at all, just use the word dana. That in fact, I would say that donation would be the word that we would find on every web page, and then donation is mentioned from donation at the top, mixing in dana, and then at the end, make a dana donation. Is
maybe
the
a
button
line
that they push.
recognizing the philosophy, or yes, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, mix the two. Yes, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of comments. One is like John Kabat-Zinn basically takes a very Western-based approach in terms of his language, right? Like he calls it mindfulness-based stress reduction.
Yes, I know all about it.
Meditation or any of that, right? And so I think that's been really effective for him. However, when we're going to have these teachers on the website that are part of very religious kind of lineages, like Tibetan, or Vajrayana or whatever, that makes it seem kind of religious. So,
but people have gotten already at least a foot deep into it before they see that.
Though we also
I would recognize that, yes, we can have monastic in robes on the teacher's page without it becoming religious. And if we need to, we can crop the robe out of the photo and have a big face instead.
There you go. But one of my questions would be too, like, isn't part of the purpose of this to connect the students with Watts?
Yes, exactly so. That's when you get after knee deep in it. That's the whole point is, yes, there is a Buddhist connection, but it all has to do with wellness. So there's that blend, moving out of the Western mind state with the word donation and all of that, and moving gradually into that if you want to become a teacher of wellness, here is your opportunity to do it Asian style.
Right, which is interesting, but how do you communicate that? I think that's a great question.
I'll leave that you to figure out, and you and I can talk about it. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, let's leave that one right now. All right, Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your hand in the air.
Oh, I do? No.
Yes.
Is my video frozen? I didn't have anything else to add.
We see you, but you have to press
hand.
The button.
Again, all I see you is nose up.
Nice, you're good now.
Down.
Yeah, all I see you is from here up. Can you there? That's better. That's even. Oh, now we've got it.
I have another idea. So I know this is being recorded. I think it'd be great if we put all of our Open Sangha Foundation meetings on YouTube. That's as open as it gets.
All right, we'll set up a special playlist, or we'll set up maybe even a different channel for that.
Yeah, that's very open. Like that's.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's put all of these, Parker, the Open Sangha Foundation, as well as some of the other old ones, like the old Zoom call from several years ago that we had. Where
yes, I in fact was interested in starting editing that to put it in a form that might go on the website or eventually, and we can put these all on an Open Sangha YouTube channel or something. And it might even be good to put them on the Dhammarato YouTube channel, the meetings.
Okay, all right. So Let's get back to Tyler. Tyler, you've got a screen up that you're showing us, your screen of code, it looks like.
Oh no, this is just notes from the meeting. So I'm just
Okay. It looks like modern code to me with all those indents.
so yeah, I'm just sharing this so we can all be on the same page. Of like I'm making like action items and stuff and takeaways. So just want to make sure all look at the thing.
All right. Well,
oh sorry. Are there any other like major kind of like things we haven't talked about yet? We've got the website, PayPal, 501c3. There's some other things we haven't talked about.
I'm kind of thinking that we're going in the direction of clearing most of the points up. Let us say that we can wait on the 501c and or any of the legal stuff. Somebody's got a very noisy microphone. It just started.
Sorry.
Who just joined?
That's Scott.
Yeah, Scott just muted himself. He's good.
Okay. Tyler, can you take your note screen down from the so that we can see who's up?
Yes.
Go back to the portraits. Oh, Scott. Glad to see you. We're just about to finish up here.
So one thing to address, I am not in the loop in terms of where the 501c3 is at or who's doing that. Is it left in Christopher's hands as of now?
I'm still not sure. We need to discuss that, and we've got just the Skype place to do it. Okay, let's see if we can get Jeff and Christopher and you and I back in that loop together so that we can figure out where we're going with it, given the new information that we've got PayPal right now without it, which takes all of the pressure off of having the 501c right away. That's great. That really does take all the pressure off. If we can open that PayPal and we can all put some money into it so that we could get this thing rolling, including opening the Wix account and the other stuff that Tyler wants to do. So that sounds really great to me. That sounds like that we've come to the end of this meeting with a great deal of success. The next things that we can talk about would be the twin combination of getting an email mass provider like MailChimp, and also getting together our first newsletter, which should be much of it. The newsletter will be basic content that we already have on the website.
And so will that first newsletter be something where we're announcing the first Zoom call as well? Because that is one of the more long-term things where we're
right.
We can to get into a Zoom call.
That would be a very, very good introduction thing to put on the email, is to invite people to a Zoom call, which means now we got to think about getting a professional. The problem with using free Zoom is that you're limited to 40 minutes, and you're also limited to the number of people that you can have. And so I think that would be the next point of business that could be going along with our discussion of MailChimp and a newsletter, would be also buying a MailChimp account, buying a MailChimp account. We could do that later. We'll eventually need to do that, but right away we'll probably need to buy a Zoom account.
So I think we could actually use Google Meet potentially. Google Meet's free. Like my company uses it because it's free rather than Zoom, and I don't think that has any of those limits.
All right, that's just the kind of data that we need. Okay, so someone can look into that. Scott, would you be willing to do that for us? To look into Google Meet?
I could Google it if you want. That's about the extent of my capabilities.
Well, that's the first step.
I actually don't think there's a lot to do here. I just think we can use Google Meet. I'm pretty sure we can just like set up
Then
the
we'll
meeting.
schedule a meeting and get a link, and then we can put that in the email.
Yeah. I think there's not much to do here.
Well, guys, I'm trying to give Scott something to do already.
What would be really helpful is helping write out the copy of the new website. Like I think part of saving that, but you can use help getting help write that. So like that'd be an awesome plugin, Scott.
Yeah, I'll start out getting a structure ready for what content we need, and then anyone who would like to help with that, Scott, I can point them in the direction of what needs to be written.
Yeah, we can start talking. Once we have a method of adding content, then we can start getting some of the volunteers, some of the old students to do a particular article. I've got several in mind, including an article on mentoring, another article on giving donations as opposed to business. That would be a really, really good article, and that would also be part of the beginning of the newsletter, of the advantages of Donna. And I've got about 4 on each side. So anyway, that would be kind of content that we need. So you guys are already setting up how to put new content in the website. Right. Robert's got some new content. Robert's got his hand up also. What, Robert?
Yeah, so I'm actually a professional writer. So Parker, I'm happy to do content or help with that. So you and I can have a meeting about what needs to be done, or Dhammarato or whoever. But I do this for a living, so I'm happy to write.
All right. Well, we can have a talk with some of the content, and then you can just take that content of the YouTube that or whatever like that, and gather the data off of it for publication with your edits, your professional writer edits.
Great. Wonderful.
Okay, Keyshawn, I hear your microphone.
You hear me? Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
I didn't say anything.
All right. Okay, so I think that we've just about finished up then. I think that this is a good resting point, that we've got several things going here. And so the first item on the list is let's put some money into PayPal, and then we can get the Wix, and then we can begin to do the stuff. So right now, let's leave it in a position of trust that the PayPal account, a password, will be open, and that at a later time we will announce on a meeting like this that the PayPal password is going to be closed, and only 1 or 2 people then will have it. But for the beginning, I don't mind it being an open thing so that we can see what's going on with it.
Is there any way we could, or Parker, like I could Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, you just put that money into PayPal? That kind of thing. Just be a lot easier.
Could be done. That might be easy, but it might be easy to set up a PayPal account as well. But either way, yeah, I can send you I think I have a Venmo that you can send to.
Yeah, it'll be extremely easy for me to just Venmo you. I could do that right now in 2 seconds. So.
Okay, cool. I'll send you a name you can Venmo to.
I want to make you do extra work and make one.
No, I have one. That's easy.
All right.
Okay.
So as I see it now, you have already set up the PayPal. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that eventually Tyler is going to incorporate it into the web page as well as other content. And I really appreciate the work that you're doing, Tyler. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, and I very much appreciate you also, Parker. Wow, you've been so instrumental. And also everybody, thank you, Keyshawn. You're the one who got the website started in the first place. And I appreciate it. And Robert's given us a lot of content. And so you guys are the ones who've done the most. And I do invite Scott for you to get more involved. As well as I've lost your name now. It just says you're live WDC. What's your name? Willie. Will. Okay, Will. I'm really glad that you hung in there with us. And you're invited to call me later and we can talk about the Dhamma. Does anybody have any parting words now? All right.
Happy.
And I didn't even give you the long pep talk. I'm proud of myself. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Good to see you all.
Okay.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.